Okay. Hi guys. So I have a little bit of a challenge here, hence the big black box. I think Alexis unplugged my camera and maybe didn't plug it in the right port. Give me a second, guys, to kind of troubleshoot that. Where did it go? Where is my camera? Oh, that's what happened. I bet that came unplugged. Yoink. All right. Hopefully you guys, I'll have a camera here in a minute. Unplug. Plug. I'm working on it. Hopefully you can hear me too. Hear me? See me? Hi. Did she get that from the wrong plug-in? Oh my gosh. All right, guys, I'm trying. Let's see if I can get this camera. Why do I not have the camera? You know, guys, it's always something. I have everything just fine, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work. All right, we are going to remove the Sony cam. Yes, I want to remove the Sony cam. All right, now add the Sony cam. It's a camera video capture device. Okay. Add existing Sony cam. All right. What would it be, guys, without a bit of challenge? Why do I not see this? Ah. Okay, give me a new camera. Everything was working fine, guys, and now it is not. No, I don't want the webcam. USB video. Oh, there we go. I got it. Found it. Okay, I think all I can figure is that Alexis, she said she accidentally unplugged something, and I told her to plug it back in. So give me a minute to reorder the stuff. Okay, there we go. Yay, we're back. And I might have an echo. I hope I don't have an echo. Let me see. Desktop audio, Yeti. Okay, I think I only have one audio, guys. I hope that is okay. If it's not, yell at me. Okay, here I am. Here's our lovely lamb. Okay, you can see me. Can you hear me? No echo? We're all good. Oh dear. All right, it's always something, guys. Always something. All is great. Thanks, Mina. Alrighty, let me zip back up to the top here. Hi, Vivian. Hi, Mina. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Estella. Let me reposition. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Rich. Hi, Lisa. Let's see, just make sure I got everybody here. Hi, Steve. The Pyromaniac is doing well today. I'm a little bit technically challenged, but other than that, we're doing well and we're here. So that just showing up, that's like most of the battle. So, alrighty, cool, guys. Alrighty, well, here we go. Alrighty, where are my audio units? Right, left. Okay. Alrighty. So, happy Thursday, guys. We are on part 2 of our lovely little lamb. And let's see. We made a lot of good progress last week. Just kind of thinking here, I might develop a little bit more on these flowers down here, and then we'll work on the lamb's neck and all that. You can see a cat on the catwalk. Oh, up there. Yes. That would be, there you go. Who is that? Is that Bobby? That's Bobby. That's our Bobby girl. She's right up top there. They've been playing outside a lot today because it's been nice, and they're ready for nap time. So, Vivian, my son is doing wonderfully, just so much better. Night and day difference. He's not felt this good in many years, which we are just very, very blessed. What he went through was quite challenging and scary and difficult, but we keep thinking, you know, and taking this as a blessing in disguise. And he's feeling better than he has in a long time. So thank you for asking. Yeah. Oh, there goes a... Yeah, sometimes they go running up, the cats go running up there and then up and over. It is awesome, guys. Totally awesome. Okay. Barbara, you sent a link to Woodburning University to an artist at your show reception tonight, and you hope that he joins us tonight. Cool. We do have a couple new members here on Patreon, so I hope that they are able to join in with us tonight and chat and all that, because that's always lots of fun. Thanks, Mellow Yellow. Thanks, Barbara. Yeah, thanks, Terry. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, everything. It's just really, really wonderful to have our son back for right now, because he's doing wonderful. All right, let me adjust this. And we're going to come down this way. These flowers are a lot of fun. With the folds and the shadows and all that, it really makes it very three-dimensional. Let me make sure that I give you the best possible viewing experience. Okay, there we go. All right, so I might just kind of improvise a little bit here and darken up some of the shadowy areas on this flower, because we can, and it's fun. And we can pull some of the shadowy area down a bit. Thinking I might want to turn the burner down. It's a little bit dark. In fact, I think I will. So I'm going to turn it down to where the orange meets the red. So for anybody that's new here tonight on the live stream, you are accessing the live stream through Patreon, and then just click on the video, and then you have the option to watch it on YouTube. If you watch it on YouTube, then you can access the YouTube chat, that big chat along like the right side of the screen. So if you try to chat below the video, and Mina, if you can maybe kind of keep an eye on that, because I know some people try to chat below just the link instead of in the YouTube part. You know what I mean, Mina? Just maybe give them a shout out and encourage them to. Cool. Thanks. To make sure to click on the video, watch on YouTube, and then you also have to have a YouTube account and be like logged into your YouTube account in order to chat. Hi TH. My son is doing much better, thank you. Yeah, it's been a long, very crazy road, but we're thankful for every day that he is feeling better, and he's feeling much better. So one day at a time, and we always try to be grateful. But so blessed right now that everything's going great. He's gonna be the pizza man tonight. We're gonna have pizza, and we're all excited. Okay. Absolutely, Vivian. Yep, just improvise. Hi, Zona. Okay. Oh dear, Mellow Yellow. You're watching from your hospital room right now. Oh no. Oh gosh. Prayers be with you, Mellow Yellow. I hope that you're doing okay and getting better, stronger. It's hard to get sleep in those hospitals. It's quite the challenge. But we're so grateful that you're with us tonight. And we pray that you are on the road to recovery. Okay, Mina, no one's in the Patreon chat. Okay, thank you. Hi, Jim. Glad that you are back as well. We have a lot of people coming back tonight. That's lovely. I know it's been a kind of a weird month. March was just a weird month with me being sick, the family being sick, and then, you know, the medical emergency with my son. It's been a crazy, crazy long month. So just kind of developing a little bit more shadows and depth in the recesses of the flowers here. This almost looks like tattoo work, which I think is pretty cool. With more of the outline and then a little bit of shading. So I've heard there's a lot of crazy storms out there right now going across America. So I pray that each one of you are safe and sound and not in the path of any of those crazy storms. We have a pretty big storm coming in, I think tomorrow night. But we're pretty fortunate up here in the mountains just to have snow and not, you know, tornadoes or hurricanes or anything really scary like that. It sounds pretty wild right now with the spring weather. Well, we're so happy to have you back, TH. Yeah, it's crazy how the time just flies. Hi, Sophie. There's a tail. You guys can see the tail. Hi, what are you doing? You're a good girl. You already had dinner. You did. I already gave you dinner. Good girl. Oh, now you're over here. I see. Good girl. So, remember one of our favorite modes of wood burning is that those dark values push back, the light ones pull forward. So to create the depth within this flower, anytime that you see an area, oh shoot, you can't see the reference photo. Let me move this over and then you can see this too. There we go. That anytime that you have an area that looks folded under or backward, you know, like back behind something. Struggling with words tonight, guys, but it's going to be a little bit darker where objects are more towards the viewer or in the light. They're going to be much lighter. So where one little petal disappears under another one, you're going to see a darker value there. Lisa, yeah, there's a lot of similarity between wood burning and tattoos. Absolutely. You can, especially if you do a simple outline like this and then wood burn the shading inside, it's very similar to tattoo work, I think. Had a few people ask me to do tattoo work or learn how to do it, and I just don't think that's for me. But it's way cool what people can do with tattoo work. And it's very similar to wood burning because you really can't erase with tattoos either. And it's all about value and line work, so it's very similar. Cynthia, you've had a lot of flooding. Oh dear. Barbara's under a tornado watch. Oh goodness. That's scary. That's very scary. Vivian, you had snow in Florida? Oh my goodness. Winds, rain, tornado. Holy cow, guys. Lisa has a flood watch in Pennsylvania. Oh, everybody be safe. Jim, you've tried again to get used to the Versatool but have trouble with it. But you're better with your razor tip even though you fight the hot spots like every wire burner user. Yeah. The Versatool is definitely a different shape. It has a different feel. Your hand is so far away from the point, which is a little bit different. But yeah, turning the burner down a little bit can always help gain a little bit more control over those dark spots with the wire tip burner. But then, you know, it just takes longer, like you know. But kudos to you for trying to learn a new burner. That's tough. I know that once I get kind of set in my way on something, it's a little bit of a difficulty to change. Sometimes I'll challenge myself to do something different just to see what I can do, but we always have our favorites. Hi Larry, glad you can make it tonight. So Lisa, you use both the Versatool and yeah, it is, you know, it can be a little bit clunky. It's just a different feel. Your hand is so removed from the point. It's very, very different. I think they each have their challenge. It'd be so cool to get a wood burner that could do a little bit of everything, you know, closer to the point with the handle, higher operating temp, but more consistent. I've thought about trying to engineer a wood burning tool over the years, guys, but I'm not that smart. I'm not that mechanically inclined. So I have some great ideas on how to make one, but another day perhaps. So this leaf right in here is going to be quite dark as it's overlapped by the flower. I thought I heard a cat purring, but I think it's my computer. Barbara, yeah, I can't work on people's skin either. I like people, but I really can't spend hours working on someone's skin. I think that would be a very difficult thing for me to do. So I'll stick to wood tattooing. Alrighty. So Barbara, you grew fond of the Versatool after watching me, and you use several. Yeah, I do too. I have quite the little setup over here. Because I don't like changing out the points unless I absolutely have to. I think it does kind of wear and tear on the brass points and then the threads inside of the burner. I just don't think it's very good for the tool. And somebody that only has one Versatool and they're constantly changing points all the time, especially when the points are hot, which I did in the beginning. I bent a lot of points and I kind of damaged some of the burners to where that little dot right there it just kind of pinches this post where the threads go in, and I got that loosened to where it wouldn't you try to tighten it down and it would just keep spinning. So it's good to have a couple different burners. It's worth it, and especially if you look for those sales at Michael's. I think they still do a 40% off sale on any one item. It's like a constant coupon. So if you ever need a new wood burner, definitely just hit up Michael's, because I think they still do that. And you can get your burner for nearly half off, which is pretty cool. All right. That's fun, guys. I love the shading. Was glad to have you back, Larry. And yes, Lisa, when you use the Versatool, the beanbag is an absolute must, because otherwise you just can't get your hand in the right position. I agree. Barbara, you're looking forward to the new Pro Point. I am too. And we're moving forward on that as best we can. So Jim is adding color now on a pair of cedar wax wings. It's coming back to you, but you're a little rusty. Oh, Barbara, you're right. Your wood doesn't scream or threaten to sue you if you burn it wrong. Yeah, people are, I think, kind of getting more crazy these days. Or they've lost the ability to be polite. I don't know. Probably both. All right. So moving on to this next little petal. This is fun. I like this. I added, you can see, I darkened up this flower quite a bit more than the one over there, just because it's fun and I like the shading. And I know that we've been talking about another big color workshop. I have like 2 stacks of wood burnings over here that are ready for color. Some is watercolor, colored pencil, acrylic paint, a little bit of the works. So so let me know, do you think that after we finish this lamb burning, do you guys want to dive into another color workshop? Or do you want to do another wood burning? Because we have a few projects that are kind of hanging out there that I said I might do color on. We could finish up some of those. Let me know what you think. Cynthia, you have 2 Versatools now and love them? Yeah, they're so handy just to have them ready to go. Vivian, you can't see needles without fainting. Oh dear. Yep, that would be tough. Zona, the Pro Point. So you're saying you were going to ask if I've burned with the Pro Point and how I felt about it. Yes, I like, I'm the first one to make a Pro Point. Is that question to me? No, Zona, I'm the one that kind of designed the Pro Point. This is my first prototype of the Pro Point, and I've tried to make a few more prototypes of it, and I kind of struggle with a Dremel tool, but I'm going to try to make another one and send a hard copy of a Pro Point over to Walnut Hollow and see what we can do with it. Because they sent me a great prototype, and I had some thoughts and opinions on how to improve it, and they would like a physical copy. But I don't want to send my original Pro Point through the mail in case it gets lost, and then everybody's in trouble. We'll never get it back. Okay. So that's looking really well. And let's move forward on some outlining of the rest of the flowers, and then we'll continue moving forward on the shading. So for the outlining, I was working with the razor tip and this little tiny ballpoint. And it looks like I was at level 4. Okay, so you guys, Lisa says color would be good. Jim could use a color refresher. Lisa has a lobster stained glass that you need to add color. Cynthia color, Steve color, Zona color. Rich wants another wood burning. Barbara says color would be fun, or a wood burning with color added to it. Okay, Zona, yeah. Have I burned with the one that Walnut Hollow sent me? Yes. There's a little bit of adjustments that I feel need to be made. It is an improvement over the original shading point, but it's not quite to like the level of heat retention. It doesn't have the heat retention of the one that I made. And I kind of gave them some tips on how to adjust that. And they would like a hard copy. So I gotta make another one. Okay. TH says yes to color. Yeah, Barbara, I would, I don't know if they have any other prototypes to test out right now, but they're on the right track, but there's a couple, I think, really key things that they need to adjust on those. So I'm going to go back downstairs and grab my Dremel tool and probably ruin a couple more shading points to try to make another one to send them. And we'll see what we can do. All right, so a little bit of line work here. All right, Steve is asking, how do you get down from a tree? Okay, so if you haven't been here for a couple weeks, Steve has been our comedic relief as far as giving us some jokes to mull around while we talk about wood burning as well. Larry, color would be good. Mina, yes to the color class. Yeah, I would love to give everybody a pro point to let them test it. I think that'd be so fun. This is still a little bit high temp. I'm going to go like to 3.5. Okay, I'm going to burn for a little bit and then I'll catch up on the chat again. And how you can adjust like the darkness of these lines, these outlines that I'm putting in here. If you want that more kind of graphic look with a kind of a tattoo flare, go ahead and make your lines a little bit darker. If you want a more realistic appearance to your flowers and everything, like we did up here with the lamb, keep your outlines just a little bit lighter. Steve, you don't? Okay. How do you get down from a tree? You don't. You get down from a goose. All right. I'm not sure on that one. But I think I've heard that joke before, Steve. Hi, Michelle. Glad that you can join us tonight. So Zona is saying, I wonder how they made it different from the one you made and why the heat retention is not as good as your prototype. A couple main reasons is the post. Their post is too long, my post is shorter, and then their point is just physically larger than mine. I find that the smaller the point, the smaller the post, the better the heat retention will be, because there's less material to heat up. So, and I have tried to make a few pro points, but it's like I can never really seem to make them the same. But I get close enough and then kind of test them out, and they operate about the same. Down feathers. All right, Steve, down feathers. Okay, gotcha. How do you get down from a tree? You get down from a goose. Okay, I got it, Steve. That's a good one. That one went right over my head. But I like those kind of jokes. But yeah, I have to make these pro points. I have to have the safety glasses and the respirator because I don't want to breathe in little tiny bits of metal. That's no fun. And the point is so small, I have to pinch it and hold it with pliers in order to... At one point, I have to hold it with pliers because then I get my hand in there and I wind up dremeling my hand instead of the metal, which is not very fun either. Okay, these lines are a little bit lighter than up there, but that's okay. I think we'll just go with it. Mellow Yellow, you'd love to test one too. Absolutely. There, I think once we get it dialed in for you guys, the Pro Point is going to be a game changer as far as working with the Versa tool. It's so fantastic. Lisa, I do love my ballpoint tip as well for line work. The only thing that I found that does line work just as well is that new Pro Point. So, all right, trying to figure out where we are. So this is a great time to throw out questions, guys, because I'm going to be doing a little bit of outlining here for a while. I'll do maybe a few more outlines on these leaves, and then I'll switch to shading in these leaves and that little, it looks like a daisy. All right, Steve, what side of the turkey has more feathers? What side of the turkey has more feathers? The downside? I don't know. On the outside, I like that one, guys. Hi, Tracy. Yeah, Zona, I'm hoping that we can get them something solid that they can just replicate. I've given them measurements and all that, but we'll try to keep. I'm still working on the Pro Point for you guys. And it just amazes me how, you know, everything, it just all takes time. And a lot of that has been my fault too, because life is life and it can be a challenge. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back to the shading point and let's work on a few of these little tidbits here. Everything's going crazy. Thanks, Barbara. Yeah, the new point, I actually had made like a mid-sized shading point that I'd been using for years and years. And it's just like the shading point, this big one, but a little bit smaller. And I noticed that it holds heat much better. And then we were on a seminar or something, a wood burning summit, and I was talking about this, and I got the idea that if the smaller point holds heat better, maybe I can make it even smaller. And I did, and that was kind of the birth of the new baby shader or Pro Point. So I initially made a smaller one just so I could get like in tiny areas when burning black backgrounds a little bit easier. And I just kind of came across it accidentally that it held the heat really well. So the outside. Barbara, what has been my favorite wood burning so far? That's a very good question. Generally, I would probably say they're the bigger ones that are more difficult. Like the big train has always been one of my favorites. It's a train coming, like you're on the tracks and here comes a big train and there's this big plume of smoke. That's probably one of my favorites. And then the two soldiers that I have done. So, well, you can see they're right up here on my wall. All done, guys. If we go up there, I know everything's backwards, but so we have a soldier and a train and another soldier up there. Sorry, that's like the worst photo ever, but those are probably the ones that I'm most proud of, that I really enjoyed. The soldier pieces were, oh, how big were they? 18 by 24 inches and each. And so the large burnings I spend like 100+ hours on. But I love being able to put in so much detail. The train wood burning, I think, was 16 by 26 inches. Again, quite large. And then there's another one that's one of my favorites. I don't have my phone. Hey, hon, would you tell Lexi that I'd like my phone really quick, please? Okay. So probably one of the most memorable and touching ones that I've done was a pet portrait of a this gentleman lost his beloved dog to cancer, and his dog passed away. And I was contacted by his friends to create a wood burning for him, and he didn't know about it. And they were kind of joking as far as, you know, what they sent him, which was my wood burning for his pet portrait. And he thought that his friends were just playing a joke on him or something. So if I can get my phone from her, I'll show you guys that other pet portrait, and then I'll give you the rest of the story. Oh, thank you. You're right here. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's probably my personal projects. I would say the train and the two soldiers. A really touching one would be the pet portrait. So it's worth a second here if I can pull it up. It should be here. But if it's not, I'm going to be mad. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So here's that memorial for the pet portrait. So this was 16 by 26 inches. And this was the first time that oh, let me give it, you can't focus. Come on, spot focus for me. There we go. So this was him taking a photo shoot with his dog just like a day or so before they had to put him down. And the background was really weird. It had just a mess of trees, and I didn't like it. Whoop. Nope. Sorry. Had a phone call. And so I suggested putting in this background with the light rays coming through the trees. And this is the first time I had ever tried burning light rays. So that was a challenge. And then his texture on the dog, the sweet doggy, was he's so fluffy. Anyway, this is probably, I would say, one of the ones I'm most proud of, because they videoed this lovely gentleman when he opened up the wood burning as a surprise, and he was in tears. Everybody was in tears. I was in tears, and it was just a really, really special moment. So I would have to say that's probably my pinnacle of my favorite project. Sorry, Barbara, long-winded on that one, but oh gosh, everything is. Let me get back on the chat here. Savzona, no, Terry, when you said that Walnut Hollow tried and their stem was too long, okay, the stems on the wood burning points have changed. They were shorter and now they're longer. They've changed them a little bit over the years. So the one that they sent me is one of the longer ones that they tried out. But the shorter, the better. The smaller point, the better. It'll hold the heat better. All right, I'm going to try to wood burn and catch here. Zona, when you create a pattern from a picture, do you convert it to a drawing and then sepia? You try to make a sepia picture to burn, but it wasn't as nice as your patterns. The sepia tone is definitely a big part of, I think, creating a good pattern for a wood burning, but you also need to adjust the levels of your sepia tone, because when you have a color image and you turn it into sepia tone, your eyes are no longer seeing the color. You need to focus on the values. So you're going to need to push the darks darker and the lights lighter. And I know in one of our past videos I kind of jumped on Photoshop and tried to show you guys how I do that. But anytime that I make a pattern, I try to maximize the values. So darks are darker, lights are lighter. Because if you don't have that level of contrast, your wood burnings can look really flat without any definition or contrast. I hope that makes sense. But there is a little bit of background work to getting a photo to look as best as it can when you convert it into sepia tone. And I know I've talked about creating a standalone video for that. I know we touched a little bit on it, I think in January, but I could definitely delve into that more. I'm a bit behind in the chat now, guys. Steve, what do you call a duck that's on drugs? A quacker something? Something about a quacker. I don't know. Lisa has a fear of burning too dark. She says, can you tell me what it is that you are measuring against to decide if you're dark enough? You notice that your lamb seems very monotone, but while doing the wood burning, you're thinking that it's too dark and your flowers seem too dark. How do I measure that? That's a good question. I would say if it looks monotone, you need to push your darks a little bit more. Remember that as wood burning is kind of a delicate medium, meaning they do fade over time and they are susceptible to the ravages of sunlight and all that. I would say darker is better, because if it does fade over time, then you won't quite notice that loss of value as bad. How do I measure? Sometimes just getting back and taking a step back will help. Do you remember in my book with the 5-step shading scale? Number 5 is the darkest value that you can possibly go. That's the darkest true black value that you can get with a wood burning. Generally, I try to make sure that every wood burning, with a few exceptions, every wood burning has at least a level 5, the darkest dark that you can go. And then you build up you build everything else up off of that dark value. And make sure you have plenty of midtones, your 4s and 3s, your lighter midtones, which is a 2. Make sure you also have some bits of unburned wood in there. If you don't have any unburned wood, it can look quite flat. If you don't burn the wood to the darkest in some areas, it can also look flat. And when I say there's exceptions to that rule, I would say if you're burning a portrait of a baby, be careful not to go too dark, otherwise they can look a little bit scary. But on something like this, make sure you include the darkest that you can and then the lightest that you can, and that helps it to not look so monotone. But good questions, guys, here. Good questions. And so what do I measure it against? I would say I just take a step back and you know, a lot of times I look at the screen because it gives me a little small snapshot of value, and just kind of eyeball it a little bit. I would say if it looks monotone, push your darks darker. Because even though the lamb is white, it still has plenty of dark values inside that fluff. And if you want a good example of wood burning white values, grab yourself a roll of toilet paper, put it on a desk, put a spotlight on it, take a picture, and then try to make a wood burning of that toilet paper roll. It seems really weird and silly, but when you force yourself, you can do whatever white subject you want. But most people have a roll of toilet paper in their house. So if you try to do a study of a roll of toilet paper, you will see so many more values in that white roll of toilet paper due to the light. That's a great exercise to really kind of focus your eye onto seeing more values. Excuse me. All right, thanks guys. We have grass in the valley, so I'm definitely getting allergies. All right. TH, you've also noticed that the neck of a wood burning point needs to be shorter to help hold the heat. I agree. I think Walnut Hollow, my theory is they made the neck here of the point longer so that people wouldn't burn with this post down here accidentally. Because I've heard of people trying to wood burn and they get their angle too flat. And you can see how you get like two different things going on there. You're burning with the post and then the stem as well. And I have a feeling that they made the neck of that point a little bit longer to prevent that. But I think it just depends on how you hold the burner to avoid accidentally burning with that part, because that little neck right down there is hot. If I can get it, see, it's quite hot, and you can burn with that part too. That's my guess as far as why it's longer. All right, other questions. Vivian is asking, don't know if it will help any, but have you tried making a mock-up of the original Pro Point you made, like, to keep the dimensions more like the first one? As far as a mock-up, I'm not sure what you mean. I've tried to replicate it, you know, grinding it again, and I just need to probably spend more time on making them a little bit better. It's funny. A lot of times I can do something once and it turns out really great, and then I try to do it again and then I struggle. So, but as far as, I would love to have like a digital scanner. You could scan the thing, like 3D scan it. That'd be cool. 3D print it. I don't think you can do that with metal though. Barbara, you're saying your soldier is what I showed my artist friend at the reception. He was amazed at your work, and I invited him to join Patreon. Well, cool. There is a gentleman that just recently joined Patreon, so maybe that's him. If he's here, welcome. Thanks, guys. The portrait with the dog Terry. That's probably one of the ones I'm most proud of. And it was a challenge. I didn't know if I could do it when I did it. The light rays were quite the challenge. Thanks, guys. Thanks, TH. Oh my gosh, I am way behind on the chat. All right, everybody just give me a minute here. I'm going to double check on the chat for any pressing questions. Because I'm a bit chatty and I missed it. Yeah, that pet memorial piece, I think, is just, it was so sweet to see him open that. Because he was like one of those rough and tough guys that doesn't cry. And he was crying. Okay. Jim says that the length of the Versatool is definitely part of your control problem. It is different, not being able to get your hand closer to the point. Okay, Steve says a duck on drugs is a quackhead. All right, that's a good joke, Steve. Okay, Zona, you're saying that you would much rather buy a pattern than create your own, but if you enter an art show, they require it to be an original. That is kind of, I think, a slippery slope as far as what do they qualify as an original. If you take a picture of a tree and then make a wood burning of the tree, you're making a copy of a photograph, right? Even though it's your original work. So that is a little bit of a slippery slope when it comes to original work. I don't know that each art competition does it a little bit differently. But I would say, especially if you can take something like this and maybe cross-reference it with another pattern and take elements, like take these flowers at the bottom and then put in a different subject at the top and kind of intermix the patterns, you can basically make your own original artwork. So, but yeah, that can be tricky. Good question though. Yeah, Terry is saying the weightiness of the Versatool bothers you. It is a little bit heavy. The cord kind of pulls down on it on the back end. I've never opened one of these things up to look at the inside. That would be interesting to see the mechanics inside. But I personally kind of like the hefty, the bigger grip on the Versatool. I think it gives me more not really more control, but less hand fatigue. I find that the smaller the pen, the more I kind of squeeze it. So I like the overall thickness of the Versatool. Okay, quick. I know I'm behind you guys on the chat. Give me a second here. Cynthia, yes, taking a picture of your work and then looking at it later, you can see what to darken. Also, if you take your wood burning and go put it in a mirror, sometimes you can see areas that need to be adjusted as well. TH, you did the toilet paper wood burning that I posted. It is fun. It takes it's very interesting to try to pull values out of something white like that using just light. So it's pretty cool. Lisa, thanks. I'm glad that you like my chattiness. I would rather be more chatty than just letting the 2 hours drone on and not say anything. So I really appreciate your guys' questions. It keeps me moving. I know we're kind of stagnating or slowing down on our wood burning here, but it's all good information, I hope, and give you guys a little bit more to kind of think about here. All right, I'm gonna burn for a little bit more and try to keep an eye on the chat. I don't think I've caught up yet, but that's okay. So this nice rounded portion of the leaf, if you darken the area where the leaf kind of tucks underneath the flowers, that's some good dimension. And then as the leaf kind of curls downward, you can darken the leading edge as well. And that gives it a nice rounded appearance. And of course you can put in the leaf texture with the little veins. I didn't do that up here. So you can kind of get creative that way as well. So Lisa, if you're looking for, oh, I'm checking it. a book. Yeah, the wood burning book, you can order that directly from me. I actually get more money if you buy it from me, because I only get a certain percentage if you buy it on Amazon. So if you go to either Wood Burning University or minisapyrography.com and put in a book order with me directly, I always sign those books, so you get a signed copy, which you don't get on Amazon, if that's something that you would like. And then it does help me out a little bit more financially if you order directly through me. So, because I have to pre-order the books myself, and I have a lovely inventory of books downstairs that I would love to have them find their new home. So I have 2 wood burning books. One is more beginner based. The other one is more realistic based, but they both have just some great basic information in there. So if you don't have my 2 books, definitely please consider taking a look at those. And there you can find both of the books have like the 5-step shading scale. I think they both even talk about the wood burning of the toilet paper roll. Cool. Thanks, Mina, for putting that link in there. Vivian, maybe use a piece of cardboard to make a little model, or some very thin metal for the general shape. That's a good idea too, Vivian. And my chat just like jumps. Everybody. Zona, I agree. Zona says that I think one of the best rewards of being an artist is being able to create something that is touching, something meaningful to someone else. I agree. I think that some of the highlights of my life is creating a piece of artwork that people really are moved by. I know I've had a few people that were quite moved with my soldier wood burnings as well. My husband included. He's a sweetie. And he really liked the soldier burnings as well. I love any project that I can create big and really capture the amount of detail that I'm after. And it's one heck of a challenge. Sometimes I'll spend like a year on each big project just because I get burnt out and then have to come back to it again and again. So it's definitely a little bit of a challenge for me to do the bigger projects. But I love how they turn out. But I think challenging ourselves is one of the best things that we can do as an artist. I will say that's probably one of the main reasons why I've been able to create what I have so far, is because I will go into a project that is way over my head that I've never tried before, and I just dive into it to see if I can do it. That alone has taught me, I think, more about wood burning than anything else, is taking on projects that are above, just like a little bit above my skill level. And then once I can do that, then I feel comfortable, and I just keep stepping up and stepping up and stepping up. So I encourage every one of you guys to start small, and then just constantly try to find a project that's just a little bit more difficult than the last one. And then expand your boundaries. You might get frustrated, then go back down to what you're comfortable with. Make a few pieces that you're comfortable with. Smaller ones are better. And then go back up. Push yourself again to try another kind of project that's out of your comfort zone. And then just keep doing that, and it will increase your skill level just naturally. And it's a lot of fun too. Right. Okay. Lisa, you find the smaller pens, you squeeze more. I agree. Zona says, the reasons I love the lives is, number one, I get to watch you burn on your techniques. You're a visual learner. Number two, you get to pick my brain and you get to know me better. Cool. Thanks. I agree, guys. Sometimes I try to find a balance of wood burning and talking, but we're getting there, guys. We're getting there on this project. All right. So this is a little bit rough down here, just I think because I'm not, like, my focus is all over the board, but that's okay. We'll get it dialed in. If your shading and all that looks a little bit splotchy, just go back over like I'm doing now, and we will add a couple more layers and we'll blend everything out and it'll look nice and smooth. Yeah, the live streams have been so beneficial, I think, to a lot of you guys, and also to me, to help me to learn better ways to teach and just to connect with everybody. Because I am a hermit. I am totally a hermit, and that's good. I like being a hermit. But you guys are like my little outreach program for hermetism. I really enjoy sharing this time with you guys. Alrighty. Larry, you just finished a wood burning for your sister in Utah. Awesome. Very good. Cynthia, you like the books? Yeah, sometimes I'll go back and I have some books on my shelf and I will reference my own books from time to time, which sounds kind of funny, but I don't remember what I wrote a couple years ago, and it is helpful to just pop open the book and refresh myself on certain things. Okay, let us continue with our outlining here, gentle outlining. Cynthia, you are doing a memorial picture of 3 dogs right now on one piece of wood. Wow, that's a challenge to get several pet portraits onto one piece of wood. Thanks, Tracy. Yeah, sometimes we just burn, sometimes we chat a lot. Sometimes we have a nice mix of both. And see, I still try to use this pad when I am working with the razor tip, and it just does not work. So I have to ditch the little pad. Yeah, I'm thinking a wood burner like the Versatool with a shorter handle like this would be super cool. So this little flower over here has lots of different petals. Not sure what kind of flower it is. It's pretty. It's not really it's not a sunflower. Ah, Zona, that's a great question. What is my least favorite project or kind of project? I would say my least favorite kind of project is portrait commissions for other people. I have been burned several times with portrait commissions, even for close friends, which is kind of sad. Oh, I just burnt a hair. I've made portraits for close friends and then never got paid. I've done portraits for strangers, and some of them, they're thrilled, they love them, and some of them are just so difficult and they don't like it and they want revisions and they're a little bit picky, or a lot picky. And then I find inspiration in wood burnings. Like, I want to do these projects that I want to do. That's one of the big reasons I kind of backed off on commissions, is because people would want me to do these pictures that, you know, I'm getting paid for it, but I have no connection to the project. I don't know who this person is. So I would say that's probably my biggest, least favorite. Would be my guess. Now, I have done some portrait commissions that I absolutely loved. I did a commission of an elderly gentleman in a big old cowboy hat. That project, I think, went to either New Zealand or Australia. And that was a bigger project. It was quite the challenge because I'd never done a wood burning of an elderly gentleman before, and trying to match the texture of the skin and all that was quite the challenge. So I like that, but yeah, I would say that's probably my least favorite, is portraits. Because if portraits aren't spot on, they really can be a challenge. But certain portraits I really find enjoyable. Like I did a wood burning of Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. That was so fun, mostly because his portrait had so many textures. He had a bandana, and then his dreadlocks with beads in them, then he had his little beard, and you know, the tattoos and stuff on his face. I love that because there was so much more than just a portrait. So good question, Zona. I think that would be my answer to that. Thanks, TH. Lisa, you work from home and enjoy the meetings. You actually enjoy chatting on here. Me too. Lisa, you talk while you type. Oh, how fun. I think that'd be great. And I know that we've talked about trying to do Zoom classes with a group where you guys can talk as well. There's just been so much going on in my life lately that honestly, other than the live streams, the weekly live streams, that's about all that I do with wood burning right now. My life has just been turned upside down, and with the stress and all that, I've had to step back from a lot of the plans and goals and ambitions that I've had for Wood Burning University and just wood burning in general, just having to take a step back and focus more on the home front. So it's difficult. But I really love our weekly time here where we can wood burn and chat, and it definitely takes my mind off of everything here at the home front, and I hope that you guys enjoy it as well. And I know that all of these challenges in life will pass, and we'll get back to working more on wood burning and all the fun things that we love in life. Me especially. But But we do what we can do, and we're grateful for each day that we have and try to make the most of it. I have like all these little tidbits here. This point is a little bit chunky for these tidbits, but with this size piece of wood, I think it'll be okay. Any size of piece of wood smaller than this, I would go for a smaller point. There we go. Okay, let's work on shading those guys. I'm hopeful that we can finish this tonight, but if not, we'll do another part. Okay, you go there, and you go here. Alrighty. So Larry, you've done like 3 of the farmhouse and the country burnings. It's a popular one. That's awesome. Very cool. I like those country ones too. Jim says you've been watching the weather in my area and imagine that I've been spending a lot of time on the tractor. Actually, we've been pretty lucky as far as we've got a lot of moisture, but not a lot of snow, if that makes sense. The snow is really dense. We got 6 inches of like concrete, but our road was almost melted out at that time. So we're doing okay on tractor run time. It's not been near as snowy this year as it was last year. Was insane. We had 6.5 feet of snow at this time last year. We're down to maybe 2.5 feet right now. So I think we're going to melt out much sooner this year, which is wonderful. Mina, you wave when you say goodnight. Oh my gosh, I do too. Like when I tell you guys, yeah, I wave. Zona says, I'm not willing to do a portrait. I've had people ask and I turn them down. Besides, you've not tried to do wood burnings of people. They are tricky. Zona, I would encourage you just to try one for your sake. Like, find a portrait of someone that you really like, whether it's a religious figure or a celebrity, anything that you feel drawn to and kind of inspired to create a wood burning of. Portraits are a completely different cat because you have very smooth textures on the skin and then the hair and all that. It's quite the challenge. So if you find an image of something that you're really drawn to, when you're ready, go for it, because it teaches you a lot. And even if it turns out looking not very good, that's totally okay because you've learned a lot along the way. But as far as portraits for other people, that's a tough one. It really, really is. Lisa, you enjoy interacting with everyone on Facebook and Discord as well. And I apologize, I have not been on Facebook or Discord lately. Like I said, just so much going on here at home. But I love that you guys are able to interact and talk and visit and share your projects together. So that's fantastic. Thank you, Tracy. Thanks, TH. Life has been very, very challenging for at least 6 months. Just like debilitating stress for 6 months. So I'm doing what I can, but if you don't hear from me for a while, guys, know that I do love you, and I just have to take a step back and deal with other priorities. I know things will calm down like they always do. This is just another phase in life, and everything will be okay, and we'll get through it. But if I am off the radar, that's why. I just have to step back and take some personal time. Sanity is kind of an important thing, guys. We need that, generally. All right, so this is going to be a very fun flower. Look at all the dark values down where the petals meet like the base of the flower. That's a lot of fun. A lot of shading is just gradient work. So you just find a little petal. Okay, it's darker at the bottom and it fades up towards the top. This doesn't really have a whole lot of texture, but you can add a little line in there if you want. So just work on your smooth shading and pull those dark values up a little bit. And I would say if you want to really learn shading, go for the flowers. Flowers have a great variety of shading to them. And they're very abstract too. So if you get the petal shape wrong, no one's going to know. Just try to match your shading. And if you make a mistake, that's okay. Flowers are unique. All right, guys, my turn for a joke. And then we'll get back to the chat. Okay, how do you catch a unique rabbit? That's my joke for tonight. I'll check on the chat. Oh, gotta go farther up here. Wow. Oh, Steve does have a joke. I thought so. Which rock group has 4 guys who can't sing or play instruments? Rock group. The Flintstones? No. A rock group. I don't know, Steve. Mina is asking what happened to the Little League coaching job. It is still going. I coached last night. It's a bit overwhelming because I don't have much help. I think a couple parents stepped up last night to come on as full-time help, which is great because I've played softball for my whole life, but I have not coached. Really? So it's coming. It was really stressful last night. Just a lot of responsibility and trying to figure out how to teach something that I've done my entire life, and everything's different now. They teach completely different drills and dynamics, and I think I've just decided that my goal for this year is to teach the girls to love the game of softball, and everything else will fall into place. If they love the game, then they'll work harder at all the drills, and the dynamics will come later. But I'm not going to be a drill sergeant for these girls and run them off. So love for the game, that's my goal. And I think that'll take stress off of me, and they'll have more fun. That's my goal. All right, Cynthia, you enjoy our weekly sessions. I do too. Lisa, work-life balance. Yeah, I've got a lot going on right now. Thanks. I actually did this week spend an hour on just wood burn. No, it was like an hour and a half wood burning on my angel project. You guys want to see the angel project that I've been working on? I know I showed you. Okay, so I actually just sat down and had some time to work on the angel project. So I'll show this really quick to you guys. Since we're all over the board here tonight, which is fun, let's keep it different and interesting. Okay, so this is the angel wood burning that I am working on now. That's a little bit overexposed, but that's okay. That's better. So, I really wanted to work on the black background, but my cat was sleeping up on my desk and he doesn't like the smoke. So I tried to finish out a lot of the fabric. Catch on the chat. Stop with the emails. All right, I just had a bunch of emails come through. I hope I didn't lose you guys. Anyway, but here's my angel project that I've been working on. So Terry, you're still working on moving. Oh my gosh. You've been at that for a while. I hope that all goes well. Zona, you finished this a sun and moon wood burning on maple. How cool. That is so fun. There's so many projects I'd like to do. I love that you guys are making these. Checking on the chat, checking on the chat. Thanks, TH. Yeah, family comes first. You guys are my break from reality in a good way. But with everything else going on, I just really appreciate everybody's patience and understanding here lately. It's been kind of crazy. Did Steve ever tell us the end of that joke? Oh my gosh, I am like crazy on the chat. Okay, one of these days I will have somebody that can read the chat and give me questions as we work. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, guys. Thanks, TH. Yeah, it's just been... Well, Terry, I agree. So my son has had his screen name is The Sickness forever. And I keep telling him, you have to change that name because it implies a negative connotation. And he did it because, you know, he had some health issues in the past. And I'm like, you got to change it. And he's like, nope, I'm going to keep it. So we need to make SICK, S-I-C-K, an acronym for super incredibly crazy cool. Cool with a K. Oh, good, you guys. Unique upon it. I'm all over the place here, guys. How do you catch a unique rabbit? Unique upon it. I'm so far behind in the chat. Oh, Mount Rushmore is the end of your joke, Steve. Lovely. Very good. Okay, so you guys have seen the angel. Very good. Yeah, Jim, I did not plan on being the coach either. They didn't have anybody else, and I've played forever, so they put me into coaching. You're still here, still here. Okay, guys. Yeah, absolutely, Zona. I tie my wood burning time around the cats. If they're up there, Chipper, he'll be sleeping, and I'll start to wood burn something dark, and he'll go because I'm waking him up because it stinks. You know, it's too much. So, all right, let's see what we can do here, guys. I love the movement in the angel's gown as well. That's one of my favorite parts of that wood burning is the angel, the flowing gown and all that. Yeah, I love fabric. It's just fantastic to wood burn. Jim, you are an occasional bird carver and you like the feather detail of wood burnings. That's awesome. Feathers can be a challenge. I'm always drawn to bird images to wood burn because they're so simple and like the composition of them are just beautiful and I love them. But when it comes down to wood burning each feather, it gets a little bit challenging, a little bit monotonous. So I'll start wood burning of a bird and then I have to take a few breaks just because it is a bit repetitive and so intricate and detailed. Vicky says your phone is loaded with things that you would like to burn. Me too. Ah, Steve, I love that joke. Everybody check the chat for Steve's latest joke. That's a good one. All right, so I'm going to zoom in again here on the flowers. And we're going to refocus. There we go. So we have a lot of negative space around these little white flower tidbits. Pistil, stamen, something like that. The flower anatomy we are going to burn around So negative space at its finest. All right, Steve. Steve says, I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you know which comes first. That's a very good one as well. All right. So yeah, I'll see if I can get a little bit more work done on that angel project. It's something that I've been drawn to for a long time and just haven't had the time or opportunity to really work on. I really wanted to get that one done for Easter, but we were delayed. So but I have a series of projects like that that I've been wanting to work on. That one is actually a little bit smaller than I would have wanted. Generally, something with that level of detail, I like to do a larger wood burning, but it was really snowy and I didn't have any other pieces of wood sanded, so I just went with what I had. But generally when I sand pieces of wood, I'll take a variety of different sizes and shapes and all that, and I'll make a big old pile and spend a good afternoon, like an afternoon sanding. But I have a table set up outside with an outlet where I can sand, and I'll start with 220 and hit it down pretty good, and then move up to 330 and then 400, and then I think I have a 600 something grit sandpaper, and that's about kind of where I stop. Some people go higher on their sanding, but that seems to work just fine for me. But it takes a while to interchange all the sanding pads, so I just have a stack of wood and I just go through it, respirator, eye protection, and all that, and I do that outside. And then I usually bring up those pieces of sanded wood and I have them upstairs in a cupboard, and then I can just kind of pick through and find the right size project. Like this one is a little bit wide for the lamb, but it's all I had at the time. During the winter, I don't do much sanding unless it's a really nice day and no snow. Okay, it's getting a little bit dark around here. I'm not really paying attention, so we will make this a little bit lighter. Haha. Steve says, I know they say money talks, but all mine says is goodbye. Yeah, that's a tricky one. Let's see. Estella is asking, am I making the wood burning of the angel for myself, or am I going to sell it? Generally, I have everything available for sale. Unless it's a gift or a commission, pretty much everything that I do is open for sale. I've not been pushing the sale of originals lately. The economy is a little bit of a challenge in my area, and honestly, I just haven't had the time to pursue, promoting my artwork online, which is generally where I sell my artwork, is posting it in groups, posting it online, Facebook, that sort of thing. And generally people just kind of reach out and say, hey, is this available? And I say yes, and then, we make the deal. So I have a lot of inventory piled up, especially from all the projects that we've done over the years. Come couple years now, guys. We're almost to our 90th live stream. Isn't that crazy? That's a lot of wood burning. But yeah, generally I have everything available for sale. All right, Steve is saying, do I know any jokes about sodium? Nah, that's a good one. I'll have to tell that one to my husband. He knows chemistry. And A is the chemical makeup for sodium, correct, Steve? So have fun with this flower here. See, mine is a lot darker than the original reference photo. Of course, I got a little bit distracted, but that's okay. Just make sure you have these nice little unburned bits of wood up there, darker towards the bottom, and just have fun with it. It'll all work out. And that's the cool thing, is that everybody makes their own unique pieces of artwork. You can give 100 different people this same project and you will get 100 different results, which is pretty darn cool. Tracy, you do all of your sanding outside too. Yeah. It just makes so much of a mess. So Vicky is saying the one that watching you burn has taught, the one thing that watching you burn has taught me is that you don't need to try to replicate the pattern exactly and it will still turn out. It was literally life-changing. That's awesome, Vicky. Yes, absolutely. You just start with like a base pattern and then you can make it your own. Absolutely. Sometimes on a wood burning project, like a pattern, I'll see stuff, I'm like, oof, I don't really like that, so I'm just gonna change it. You don't have to mimic everything exactly. That's totally, totally cool and fine. Because I see things that maybe other people don't. Some people see things that they want to change that I wouldn't notice. And that makes everybody's artwork unique and just very cool. So we're getting close on this little flower here. Once I finish this flower, we'll go into the lamb's neck and we'll start wood burning that. Lisa, I do use an orbital sander. I used to sand everything by hand, and that's a lot of work. Makes for strong arms, but it's a lot of work. So an orbital sander is pretty darn cool. I don't know if I have one on my Amazon storefront. I think I might. But if I don't, I should. I think I have a DeWalt orbital sander. All right. So let's maybe jump up a little bit and start working on the lamb's fluffy neck. There he is. Okay. All right, Steve says, I just found out the company that produces yardsticks won't be making them any longer. That's a good one. Oh, TH, yes, 90 and growing. We have so many live streams. It's just fantastic. All right, so if you, let me see if I can give you guys a better picture here so you can see the reference photo. If you look, I'm gonna have to move me, but that's okay. All right, me. No, not that one. This one. Go away. Okay, so if you look at the lamb's neck, and there's fold after fold after fold, this reminds me so much of the wood burning of the train smoke that I've done, but it's upside down. So for something like this, I would start at the bottom and work my way up because the shadows are on the bottom side and then it blends downward. So for example, Let me just dive in here if I can find my lines. So you have a darker line on the bottom. This is very similar to clouds, guys, very similar. Okay, right there I am. So we have a little bit of a darker edge towards the top. And then there's a gradient downward. I have to sneeze. A gradient downward here. And then moving, we're just going to move up, and I'm not going to get into those little leaves. And then another hard line at the top. And a slight gradient downwards. So that's a way to get that billowing effect, is dark and then gradient to the next layer of dark. Now these are really tiny, so it's kind of hard to get that full gradient effect. But just take your time and go slow. And now as we layer and layer and layer, it should turn out looking better. All right, sorry guys. So yeah, I've zoomed in a little bit more. Hopefully you can see that. Thanks guys. I held that sneeze off for the longest time. Oh, Jim, that sounds so cool. That Wood Carvers Club show is the largest in the country. That's so cool. I've wanted to travel and go farther out for clubs. That sounds so fun. Wow, that's way cool. All right, now we find the next layer, which would be right here. So dark line at the top. Hey, Crinkle Man.
Hi.
You're making crinkly noises.
It's not cooperating.
Okay. So dark towards the top, and then gradient downwards. And then move one step up, find the next line of fluff. It's kind of a long one over here.
Smile.
It's so loud.
I know.
Oh. Okay, so dark line gradient down below and blend it in. So here's a great example of knowing that this lamb is white, and yet we're putting in some really dark values here just to get the right sense of depth. Okay, and then we move up another layer. this is all clouds are, guys. You just have to turn it around the other way. Normally, like when I would burn that big train, I worked on it upside down because that was the best way to get this billowing effect. Don't be afraid to work on projects upside down. Sometimes that is a huge help, or sideways, or you know what I mean. You don't have to wood burn everything straight up and down. So Lisa, your eyebrows are very high right now. That sounds crazy. Kind of fun. All right, another line. And then go back. You can always go back and make that a little bit darker. Gradient downwards. Blend it in. And so underneath the neck, we're going to have more shadows and everything. For right now, I'm just kind of following the base outline of how to do the wood burning of the neck fluff. And then we can kind of soften it here in a little bit. And now because I am putting in harsher outlines underneath the neck, I might need to go back up into the face and kind of match that. That's what I was thinking, Lisa, that you're very interested in what we're doing. Cool. Yeah. Yep, just really kind of finding a way to break down what you're seeing is really cool, and it's a very big help. It can be overwhelming to start into something that you've never wood burned before. But one thing that's helped me is just break it down. Okay, I'm like, okay, it's darker at the top and then a gradient downward. And I say that to myself again and again while I'm wood burning these areas. And then I'm able to do it a little bit easier next time. But if I just try to wing it and just dive in there, sometimes I have a hard time. So I have to find a little system that works for me. She's a thirsty dog. That's a good joke, Steve. I like that one with the yardsticks. I'll have to tell my husband that one. I just spontaneously tell my husband like dad jokes, and he doesn't see them coming, so it's fun. And then he's on to me. I can tell a couple and then he's on to me. But it's fun. Okay, we have a couple more little U-shaped lines here. Woo! Okay, so I don't think that one was where it was supposed to be, but it's okay. We'll just make it work. Tracy, yes, Sophie is very thirsty. She's getting a drink. Whoa, oh, there I am. Okay. Sometimes I lose my place so easily in areas like this, so that's why you see me putting my finger here, is trying to keep an idea of where I'm at. And you can go ahead and just block in these areas too if you want. Lightly to begin with. And then we go in and put in our little gradient. So I may have put some of these lines down here a little bit harsh. We could just try to blend those out a little bit with some soft shading. And kind of, that helped, I think. Made them look a little bit less of a line. Just kind of blend it out. That looks a bit more natural. So do we have any other questions as we're getting close to our time here tonight? I would say I'm probably going to have to do one more night session on this. I don't think we'll take a whole night, but I think we're going to need a little bit more time on this. I don't think I could finish this up in like 13 minutes. Probably not. But we're getting close, guys. So just make sure that your shadow and gradient is on the underside of each line, and then make it nice and blended. Okay. So whenever you have like the face or the chin tie into the neck, it's generally going to be quite darker where the chin meets the neck. So if you find that you're having a hard time getting depth between the face and the neck, make sure that the shadow underneath is dark enough. Even if you don't see it on your reference photo, if you kind of like push that value a little bit, that can help create that separation. So that's what we're going to do right now. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, so we're getting a little bit more definition there. We need like the other half of the neck though. It's a little bit funny looking. So that really defined that lower jawline, which is good. So again, on this shoulder, I'm kind of working from the outside or the outer edges in, and that just kind of helps me work my way forward a little bit better. Because if we start over here and then try to go backwards, you could do that too. Let's try it here. If we start here, then sometimes your gradient can maybe get away from you because you don't have a border on the other side. And then we put in the border. It's like, oh, okay, that's where we need to stop. And then we shade. So you could do it either way. I find it just works better from like the darker side to the lighter side, if that makes sense. And don't forget to burn around that little plant tidbit there. Jim says, looks like I need to persist and get the Versatool down better. You know, whatever tool you're most comfortable with is good. But I would also encourage you to try different tools. I know I'm kind of the oddball in the wood burning world to do what I do with this tool. But honestly, this is what I started out with, and I didn't really know anything different, so I made it work to suit me. And I go to work with the razor tip, and I can make it work, but I have to jump around between different points, and it is definitely a little bit more of a challenge for me with the razor tip. I have to kind of adjust the dial a little bit more on the temperature setting, but I can do it. I guess I'm just more comfortable with this tool. But I could definitely use a lot more practice with other tools. So it's all, I think, really cool to expand our knowledge and make us grow as artists and see what we are able to do. And in any case, you'll find the tool that really suits you well, and to where it becomes like an extension of your hand, and you're able to just get into that nice flow state without having to worry too much about this or that, and kind of become one with the tool. If we're, what is it, Mr. Miyagi? Did he ever say that? No, he said wax on, wax off. That was Mr. Miyagi, right? Oh, Zona. Yeah, you guys that are wood carvers, you're amazing. I swear. It's I've tried it, and yeah, I was bleeding and frustrated quite easily. I don't think my tools were very sharp either, which I'll just cut myself that much easier if I have a sharp knife. So yeah, wood burning is simple for me. Wood carving, not so much. And that's actually how I got into wood burning many years ago. Is I thought, well, maybe I could wood carve something, and it just did not turn out well. I thought, well, maybe if I burn over it, you could see it better. It still didn't turn out very good, but I fell in love immediately with wood burning. I thought, this is cool. Because I had been an artist for a while, you know, pencil drawing and stuff. And it seems like the market was so flooded with pencil artists and painters. Although this was before the internet really, like Facebook really kicked on. So I didn't have anybody to kind of gauge myself against other than galleries. And I'm like, how am I going to get into a gallery doing pencil drawing? I don't know. I love pencil drawing. But I came across wood burning. I thought, this is different. This is cool. And then I got on Facebook and put my stuff out there. And I didn't know that other people did this. It was the coolest thing that the internet just opened it up. And there was a world of people that were already doing this, which is really, really cool. Lisa. Thank you. Yeah, I say I'm an oddball because I don't use like the traditional tools of the more masterful wood burning artists, but it works for me, and I'm glad that you like it. So that's great. Thanks, TH. Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, Terry. Jim, yeah, getting smooth wood burning with a wire tip without those hot spots is so difficult. And anytime I need high heat, like outlining, I will jump to the razor tip because it can save me time. But if I have smooth shading, I just can't seem to beat or find anything yet that will beat the Versatool. I'm so sneezy. Oh. So I definitely think that the Versatool and the razor tip, they both have a great, they're both tools in your tool chest. That's totally it. It just depends on what you're trying to do, whether you need to burn dark and like longer strokes. The Versatool, the razor tip is great, but lighter shading, smooth shading, the Versatool, I think is just fantastic. So, alrighty guys, let's take a look here. I am very sneezy and I apologize. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Zoom out. I think we can finish this next week easily, and then we'll just like dive right into color. What do you guys think? TH, the Versatool is the only burner that you've ever used. Yeah, and that's how I started out. I didn't know there was these other things. I could not afford a razor tip when I first started. I could barely, afford food when I first started out. It just wasn't possible. So I just started with what I had and learned along the way. I mean, my first wood burning Versatool, it was like on or off. It didn't have temperature control, so that's why you see me blowing on the point all the time. The temperature control thing is kind of a newer deal. Definitely helps though. All right, guys. Well, thanks, Tracy. I'm glad that you're learning and everything, and that's fantastic. So glad that you guys could be here for me tonight, with me tonight. So what do you think? We'll finish this next week and then just jump right into color. Does that sound okay? Lisa says that pyrography has definitely exploded since you started in 2015. Yeah, I started in 2009. So there wasn't a whole lot at that time, but it's really, really blowing up. Cool. All right, so it sounds like that's what we'll do. We'll finish this next week and then do a hodgepodge of color. Cool. All right, guys, have a great night. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you next week. All right, good night.